Happy Wednesday. Here you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you Carl's Wine Club members across the country. It is Wednesday. This is beautiful, awesome, fun Wednesday wine happy hour. Welcome from our people all the way from one island to all the way across the country, Victoria to Halifax, Saskatchewan, Calgary, everywhere in the country. Welcome, welcome. Gail is already on. Gail from Canada, just outside of Ottawa. Gail, we're glad to have you on. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of fun, a lot of stuff to talk about. Mira Boucher, how are you today?
Doing great. I'm very excited because we've been tasting a lot of wines lately. Holy cow, a lot of wines with the new project we have going on, but also with our first little baby that we created, the first Carl's Wine Club wine. So that's been fun.
Absolutely. So a lot of great stuff to talk about. So much content today. So much to talk about. So much to share with all of you. Mira Boucher, I have a little surprise that you don't know.
Oh yeah.
So let's start talking. Let's start to talk. Let's get into the meat of the meeting of the show today, and a little later on. I have to sneak out to get a little something. So okay.
For me.
So yeah. A little surprise. There you go. I'm not gonna ask you to marry me because you already done that. So don't worry about that. I'm not pregnant. So we're all good. So no big surprise. Just a little celebration.
Woo! You got something in the oven? What are you doing?
Not in the oven. It's in the freezer.
Really?
I should have. Maybe I should have put the ribs in the oven. Yes, I should have thought of that, but I did not. Okay. So, everyone, it's hey, wow! People are tuning in early tonight. It's already like
Linda. Thank you, Linda from Victoria, saying can't wait to try the new wine. Yes, she's talking about this one. Where is it? This one.
Is it this one? I think within a couple posts today that may excite a few people, so that's why people are tuning in early. But yes, we have this open right now. This is the first sample bottle. I don't know if you know this. This one do not have label. We'll tell you the whole story later. But that's what we're tasting. We are tasting Carl's Wine Club members red blend that we have created earlier this year with our partners at Bellaterra, especially Marcel Morgenstern, who was the driving force in the project, especially Fred DiProfrio, who made the wine as a winemaker, and with all the support and the logistic of Lou Puglisi. So all the team basically at Bellaterra made that project what it is today. And the good news, Mira Boucher, is according to the tracking number that we have, the box is arriving tomorrow. So the finished product with the label, with the emoji stripe on it, with everything, is almost there. It was in Calgary earlier today, so should arrive at our door tomorrow. So tonight we're tasting. You are tasting it for the first time. Yes. After you tasted the sample and you choose the sample that you wanted earlier this year. So there you go. We have it in our glass. So I cheer to that.
Yeah. So, okay. Should we start at the very beginning with this story about this wine?
I think so. How about you let me do a little intro here. You let me talk to a little bit about how the whole next hour or so is going to go.
Yeah.
I'd say a little welcome in French, because I've heard, and we're growing so much right now with some amazing Francophone member that I need to do a little bit more in French. I think so. And I have my favorite baseball fan in the whole world just tuned in here. My friend John Denis. We have to talk Red Sox for 10 seconds, okay? We'll do that in French. But and after that, when I'm done, the whole introduction, give me 3 minutes, maybe 4, and we'll start with the whole story about Carl's Wine Club member red blend. How about that?
I love that.
You love that?
Good. Yes. Yes. Because you
So
talking in French is a good. I like that.
okay, I like it when you like that. So so everyone, welcome. So okay, today, Wednesday, first and foremost, obviously, we're going to talk about the whole story behind the idea of Carl's Wine Club, the red blend, the members blend. We're going to tell you the whole thing, how everything unfolds, the idea, the whole thing. Also, we're going to talk about the other baby that we're pushing out right now. It's called Carl's Cellar. We wanted to create that marketplace, online marketplace, where we're going to have long-term partner, because what we do now, for over a year now, it's featuring on a weekly basis a new producer or reorders from some people that we know that they're producing some outstanding wines, either that their names are well known across the country, or either they're a small new brand new producer. And we talk about them on a weekly basis, and we offer the wine to the membership. We try to grow our membership as much as possible all over the country. That's what we do. And we have that vision and the long-term project of building that online marketplace, where we're going to have long-term partnership with the same wineries for an extended period of time, where they can change their offering and offer different things. Through that, by offering some suggestions, by offering some personalized offers through a quiz, through
Is this the part
telling
where
you what.
I get confused? Because this was my idea. I said, Carl, it's kind of boring just to have like an online marketplace. And I'm like, it would be more fun if we could just like talk to you and get your suggestions on things, and like just get to know your own palate through this thing, like something a little more immersive than just a little online shop, which first of all is important, because there isn't a very clear place you can go if you want to discover and buy Canadian wine. There's a couple of them out there, but they're very kind of confusing to navigate. So I think that's important, to just have the listing. You can go there anytime and peruse different wineries. But I said, I want to know about me. I want to know about, like, if I like, I don't know, if I like pasta, what kinds of wines should I be trying that are Canadian that go really well with my pasta?
This, I have it here. This.
That one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I essentially like took Carl's, essence here of whenever I feel like having some wine, I just call Carl, because, but not everybody can do that. So I took that concept and we made it into a little quiz. So that will be fun, just to see, like, what's your wine personality like, and what's Carl's top suggestion for you to try. And I think for current members, it'll be fun, because if you take the quiz, you'll see, have I already tried this winery? Or if I haven't, maybe this is a new discovery. And if you have tried that winery and you like it, I want to know too, because that means that we got our quiz working well. So yeah, it's sure, there'll be kind of like a regular old kind of marketplace where you can go buy wines anytime, but there's also a quiz that I think will be really exciting for people to discover. Because the thing is, there's a lot of wine lovers in Canada. There's like 8 million wine lovers, but there's not that many, according to Facebook, but there's not that many of them that totally understand that Canadian wines are world-class, and they're worth having as part of your wine discovery journey, and worth having in your cellar, and all these kinds of things. So that's what our mission is to help people realize that.
There you go. That's such a, I need a script like that, so I can just spit it out just the way you do. It's pretty awesome. So for now on, I start with the online marketplace, and you jump in and explain that whole part. I think it's pretty. Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it. So, OK, so bonjour à tout le monde. Un beau bonjour à tous nos amateurs de vin canadiens francophones à travers le pays. Je vais vous dire un bon mercredi. C'est mercredi, c'est notre happy hour. Comme à toutes les semaines, on vous vient en direct. Et puis ce soir, encore plus que d'habitude, on est excités parce qu'on a deux projets à annoncer. Que présentement, on a travaillé pendant toute l'année sur deux projets très précis. Le premier, c'est le mélange rouge des membres du Carl's Wine Club, notre vin privé, notre vin qu'on a fait avec Bellaterra, Point de Vue, avec l'équipe, Fred, le winemaker, Lou, le propriétaire, Marcel, qui est le directeur des ventes. On a mis ce projet-là en branle plus tôt cette année. Donc, plus tard pendant la soirée, on va vous expliquer toute l'idée, toute l'histoire derrière cette idée-là. Puis maintenant, ça, c'est la première bouteille que j'ai rapportée quand on a fait la dégustation finale en Ontario il y a quelques mois de ça. C'est pour ça que l'étiquette n'est pas dessus encore, mais demain, le paquet de 12 bouteilles arrive ici à Kelowna avec les bouteilles, avec l'étiquette. Et puis lundi au dimanche soir, si vous êtes un VIP, la vente commence sur nos réseaux. On a 100 caisses de vin. Ça s'appelle le Carl's Wine Club Members Red Blend. Ça, c'est maintenant disponible. Ça s'en vient. Ensuite, on va parler du Carl Cellar, qui est un projet qu'on a pensé, moi et Mira. Donc, un online marketplace où on va avoir, là, présentement, on a 11 vignobles représentés qu'on va faire des offres, plus que notre offre hebdomadaire qu'on fait depuis le début, depuis un an et demi, qu'on offre un différent vignoble à toutes les semaines. Maintenant, on va avoir une constante place, une place consistante, une place qui va durer pendant. On planifie de l'avoir pour 6 mois, mais la vision est de l'avoir en permanence. On commence avec 11 membres du cellier à Carl, où c'est qu'ils vont avoir une offre continuelle. Des fois, les produits vont changer. Il va y avoir on va faire des spotlights sur le winemaker. Donc, on va annoncer ce soir les 11 vignobles qui font partie du cellier à Carl pour présentement, pour vraiment les 6 prochains mois. Donc, un gros merci à tout le monde en français. On essaie d'en faire un petit peu plus parce que le groupe d'amateurs de vin canadiens en français grossit de plus en plus. On a de plus en plus de membres en français qui se joignent à nous. On veut vous en donner plus, on veut vous en offrir plus dans le langage francophone. Ça nous aide à nous diversifier, mais aussi d'approcher la clientèle francophone qui sont très mal desservis par la SAQ, qui sont pas capables, à cause de leur bureaucratie absolument incroyable, de représenter nos producteurs de vins canadiens. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'on veut faire? Qu'est-ce qu'on est là, nous autres, pour vous offrir? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de mieux en termes de vins canadiens? Puis d'arrêter de représenter des vins internationaux à tour de bras, à des prix subventionnés qui font mal à nos producteurs canadiens. Et voilà, ça, c'est ma complainte de la journée. Puis, take it, SAQ. Take it.
Like there you go.
You see?
Hein? C'est très bien dit.
There you go. There's been seeing all of these comments coming up from Daryl.
Well, Daryl's just saying he's not sure about this with pasta, with red sauce. But Vicky was saying that she had it with cabbage rolls, and it went pretty well, actually. So
yeah. I think, to me, my personal taste, I think there's enough acid in there. And I was just commenting just before the show when we have our first sip together. I was just commenting about a nice peak of acidity there that will help age for a good 5-6 years. So I think there's a nice acid in there.
The thing about it is, Carl, we will have to definitely for this one, because we keep saying we're going to do this for all the wines we like. But there's only so much room in the cellar and the budget. But every year we should taste it to see how it progresses, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Especially for this one. Because
yes.
what we would like to do, it's every year do a Carl's Wine Club, a vertical tasting. So we want to taste them side by side every year. So definitely this one, we're going to get a 12 pack for sure.
I
That
think
we're
we need
going
more than that, but yeah.
to. Okay, so let's put it that way. There's 100 cases available, right?
Yeah, there's not that many.
There's not that many. So we'll see how crazy people go on Monday or Sunday night when things goes live. But we better order soon and quick and let Marcel know that we need to talk some, hide some somewhere to make sure that we have. I think now, to me, when I'm tasting this wine and what I was talking with Fred and Lou when we build the whole thing, it's about my goal. It's a 5. I want that wine to shine for 5 years. We're not aiming for a 10, 12 years of cellaring potential. That's not the goal. First and foremost, the price point doesn't reflect that either, right? So we're talking a $25 wine, including tax. So
I think we were at 26.
26, yeah, but like my point is the $25 bracket, right? There's the below 20, the 25 to 30, the 30 to 40, and so I have different bracket.
All right, so let's zoom back in time to when we were. Okay, let me show you guys this picture. This is where
I think for me it comes back all the way back in April. April, when we were in Kelowna during Christmas, during spring break with the kids. Exactly, that was in April. We were at Tender Hope doing some barrel tasting.
I thought that was in March. I think spring break is in March, but yes.
Okay, March or April. We're on the same timeline. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. So we were doing a barrel tasting for a different wine that was exclusive to Carl's Wine Club. And I said, holy cow, Carl Boucher, the 2020 vintage in Niagara was the vintage of the century. And the club started in 2020. So we need to do like a 2020 Carl's Wine Club wine. Right? And then Carl is like, reality, wine sits in barrel for several years and the 2020 wines won't be ready for like 2 or 3 more years. I'm like, oh, that's too long. I'm not that patient. I want to try something sooner and call it a Carl's Wine Club blend. So so that was in March, right? And so then we got chatting with our friend Marcel, right, out at Bellaterra. And Carl will have to fill in the next part because I'm not sure how it all came about exactly. But
no, it's when we were talking about the rosé for the summer.
Yes.
With Marcel, and like how to we wanted to be early on, and that was early in April. We wanted to be early.
Yes, because Carl said the only thing that you can taste, Mira, out of the 2020 vintage in 2021 is probably going to be some 2020 rosé, right?
So exactly, and Marcel, and we wanted to offer something before everyone when it was rosé time or early May. So we got chatted about a rosé pack with Marcel, and then just, I don't know, it came to the conversation that we did barrel tasting at Tender Hope, and we had so much fun, and we wanted to do our Carl's Wine Club wine, and it would be great to have an Ontario version of Carl's Wine Club wine. And right away, Marcel said, we'll do it with you. I was like, okay. And right away at that point, we already had made 2 offers with Pondview Bellaterra, really successful feature. I knew I already had multiple chats with Lou. I know how the owner was open-minded. Their team was awesome. I already had a chat with Fred, the winemaker. I knew his background. And so right away, and this is how Marcel thinks, right? Marcel is so like us, like he's a go-getter. There's no like, oh, maybe we should talk about it later. He's like, no, let's do it. Why don't we don't do it?
Yeah.
So,
So he's
so
like,
in that,
let's put aside some barrels. So they put aside 4, I think.
well, at first they sent a bunch of samples over, so we tried different sample.
Yeah, because if you guys have never been part of a blending session at a winery, it's pretty cool. We got to do this the last couple of years a few times. And so basically what they do is they take a bunch of samples from each barrel, like they take a sample from each barrel, and then they label them, whatever the number of that barrel is. So you don't know. And then you taste each barrel, and then you start to blend. Okay, what happens if we put like this barrel with this barrel? And what if you put like all these 10 barrels together and then you add like 2 of something else? So it's really fun because actually every single barrel tastes totally different. Even if they're from the same vineyard and they're from the same, varietal and everything. I found anyway that each barrel was different, right? So it's a really neat art, this whole blend, the blending part at the end of making a wine is really important. So that's where we were like, well, maybe we can make a blend that is something that we think members would like, and we'll call it the members blend.
And it's also a little bit my background with WestJet, right? Because while working as a wine consultant for WestJet, we realized that you approach people like, hey, what do you like? What you don't like? What would you looking for? And there's always that I don't drink that kind of grape varietal. Like some people would target specific grape varietal and say, no, I don't drink this. I don't drink Chardonnay, or I don't drink Merlot. And at the minute that you blend the Merlot with something else, the I don't drink this completely disappear. Because if you call it a red blend, but if the Merlot lover, so the anti-Merlot, let's put it that way, don't drink Merlot just because it's called Merlot. It's not about the flavor profile. It's just because it's called Merlot. So and
like
anyway,
sometimes I'm not.
I learned,
but I stay open-minded. I found Cab Francs that I like. It's all good.
I learned with my experience with WestJet, so by doing blends, you can target a wider demographic. So the idea of doing the blend was part of that whole idea, because we didn't want to do something pretentious. We didn't want to do something complicated. We didn't want to do something top premium. We wanted to do something approachable. We wanted to do something where every single members, beginner or advanced, can see each other tasting it, drinking it, having fun, without being intimidated by having this wine in their glass. So that was the whole thing behind it. It was approachable and not intimidating. Right? Am I right?
Accessible. So something that you don't feel bad popping any time of the week. So not, because there's a lot of decisions to be made in a wine. There's a winery out there, Westcott Cellars, I think. They have a little quote on their website right now that says 1,000 decisions in every bottle. And we didn't have to make the decisions, the thousands of decisions of, like, when do we plant this? Where do we plant it? Like, when do we harvest it? When do we clip back the leaves? I have no idea. Thousands of decisions people had to make about this. We just had to say, okay, well, we want it to be approachable. We want it to be accessible. We don't want it to necessarily be, oh, you need to buy a case of this and it's $80 a bottle, because that's not super accessible, right? And so, yeah, that was the whole idea, is to make it approachable and something you can have on a Tuesday night. But it's also versatile. You can bring it to a friend's house and it's got something very special, a kind of fun story behind it. And it's something that could stand up to, bigger meal on a special occasion if you wanted. So.
And it is just given our feet wet into the world of making wine, not making it basically in the action of making the wine, but just in the sense of being part of some decision. And for us, like you mentioned, it's not about thinning the vineyard. It's not about dropping fruit. It's not about when to water the vineyard. We're not part of any of that. We were just part of selecting the barrel and concocting the blend for us, thinking what's going to be the most approachable for all of our members.
At
And
the
for
same
me,
time, we got to be part of those early decisions because we got to choose from about 65 wineries that we've worked with in the last year, right?
yeah,
And we chose a winery that we knew has the same kind of approach to wine as we do, right? So we trust them 100%. Like we know, like the owner of Bellaterra, he was the grape grower king in Ontario. Like we know his vineyards are top notch and everything that they do is just awesome. So yeah, we're very happy with that part as well.
I think Marcel just had the best quote here. He said, "You guys had to do the fun job," and guess what? This is an absolute truth in there. Also, everyone had to keep doing what they really love, right? In a sense, Lou was farming the vineyard like usual. Fred does what he does the best about making the wine, and we've done what we're doing the best in the term of working with you, Marcel, is to find the best grape, the best blend to sell that product as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, for us, it's not necessarily about selling the wine the most. It's about moving the wine to the right place, into the right household, into which the right people, so the right people can open these very special bottles. Because now, when you got Carl's Wine Club label on the bottle, now it's become really special because it means more than just a blend of Merlot, Cab Franc, and Cab Sauv. It becomes a sense of community. It becomes a sense of Carl's Wine Club vision, passion, and dedication to Canadian wines and building that whole Canadian wine lover community. And Marcel, the thing to have you on board with that was such a natural decision in a sense that we are sharing the same vision with you. So yeah, these were the kind of fun decision we had to make. And today we're just enjoying what's in the bottle. Is it a perfect wine? Oh God, then no, it's not the perfect wine. Like we could have chosen some very special barrel and we could have charged $60 for the bottles, but it would not have been as fun as being able to reach so many much more people by having it approachable and to reach out to more people than last. And I think that was the whole point. This year, it's what it is. And now we can't wait to have more of our people involved next year, because that's definitely the goal, right, Mira? We want the members to be more involved next year. And it's probably going to be like inviting people on site next year, maybe for a special barrel tasting. Now, what we've done together, you and me choosing some specific barrel, oh, maybe that's bringing some people from Ontario do the same thing here in BC. And like there's many different things, but we definitely want the club to be more involved in next year's version, right?
Well, exactly, because originally I said we've got to ship these barrel samples, overnight them to like dozens of people across the country, and then we can all participate in choosing, right? That would be super fun. But logistics got a little bit in the way of that this year.
Yes.
And we figured it's better to do the first round and put it out into the world than to wait till timing is perfect and we can get all these samples out and we can do all this stuff, right? But
that's why I enjoy doing business with Marcel so much, because there's not a million questions. It's let's do it. Let's do it now and we'll deal with the rest later. So, and that's why I think you and me and him are working so well together.
Totally right. And Arthur's saying, good thing we didn't choose a champagne sparkling. Yeah, no, like that's the whole idea is a red blend. I think most members can appreciate a red. I know there's some people that say, I just don't drink red. Some people say it gives them migraines and stuff. So, I mean, this particular one, I have experienced the headache after a red. I think it has to do with how much preservatives or something are in it. I haven't at all experienced that kind of thing with this one yet from the sample we tasted before. But I know what you mean. But yeah, so another thing might come up is maybe a Chardonnay or like a membership.
Funny that we had that kind of conversation this morning.
Yeah, we were chatting like what's next, right? And Elaine has a great idea. I like this, a group grape stomp.
Hey, Mira, how about I go get the surprise and you talk about the not the fundraising, but the what we want to do with a small part of the proceed.
Yes. Okay. So part of the proceeds will be for donating to a charity. And we asked members just on these lives a couple times, and we had some amazing ideas of hospice, of the food bank, and we were talking about potentially like a charity that helps people with disabilities. Our own son has autism, and so we like that kind of idea. So again, this is something I think that members should participate in more in future, that I think if we're doing a club wine, there should be a poll or some way for members to vote, maybe for like a charity. We got to think through a way that we can do this in the future. This year, it's very small amount of wine and very small amount of donation probably that will come from it. But we are setting aside at least $1,000 to donate to a charity once this wine sells out. And this year we chose Habitat for Humanity. And we were thinking about, which charity to pick. And again, like I think in future, it should be the members' choice. It should be something by participation. But we chose Habitat because, oh, you're bringing something out. Okay, Carl is here. We chose Habitat. Oh, jeez.
Hey, we're celebrating, right? Are we not celebrating?
Daryl says he finds after 2 bottles a minor headache might occur. It's true. It's hard to know when you're tasting wine, you only taste a little bit here and there. You never know exactly how much that adds up to. If it's a few glasses or a couple bottles, you're not always sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
I thought it was worth
cheers
celebrating.
So this is what was in the freezer. Because that's what happens at our house. We don't have time to chill the wine. No. Awesome.
So it's kind of a segue with this and Carl Cellar, because that's another one that we have to taste anyway.
Yes, we're tasting a lot of wines the last few weeks.
So it's part of 13th Street portfolio. That's the 2019 Blanc de Blanc. So
lovely. Oh, I like this nose.
Yeah. So cheers. Congratulations for Carl's Wine Club member red blend.
Woohoo!
And Carl Cellar for all the countless nights of sleep that you're going to encounter in the next few days.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind it. And we chose Habitat for Humanity Niagara because we felt that, they do great work in terms of people that need housing, which is such an important need. But also if you didn't know, they also do work around other needs as well, I think, in the community. So I think they do, they feed people, they provide, clothing and other things. So I think they really serve a lot of people in the community that are in need. And I think hopefully by the holidays, we'll be able to hand over a nice check to them so they can do something meaningful with that.
That's awesome. That is great. And thanks everyone for the output and the ideas. And yeah, I think that it was just the right thing to do, right? In the world we live in, and why the Carl's Wine Club was founded and based to build a community. And I think it's just the right thing to do to support some of people in need in the region right now where the wine was produced. So yeah, that's the idea behind it. So
love it.
Cheers to that. Cheers to Habitat for Humanity.
Totally. Cheers. Exciting. So let me see what else I got up my sleeve here. Fun things. Look at this fancy look here. Let's talk about Carl's Cellar.
No, just before we do that, can you give me 2 minutes so I can review?
Oh, well, yeah. Tell us what you actually think of this wine. So for me, we're both biased. So, because we were involved with this wine from day one. And although
But
the club is not selling it, because the club doesn't actually sell wines, the winery that we're featuring that has our logo on it is selling it. So,
it's funny because it's a little bit like everything in life. I'm biased, but now because I'm involved into it, I'm a little bit more critical. I'm a little bit more focused into what could be better. And so, it's a little bit like if you coach in sport or something like that, you're critical of the game. And when it's time about your own team, or you're even more critical, you can analyze the whole thing, but you're really critical about your own team. It's pretty much not my approach, but my natural way to go after that. Now I'm like, okay, this one, mine can maybe have a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. And I just need to step back and say, hey, this is a $26 wine that we built to be approachable, that we built with the vision that people have fun and not being overcomplicated. So with that in mind, for me, I think we absolutely we hit the point.
exactly what we were going for. And really,
I think so.
It's the Bellaterra team that deserves most of the credit because they're hearing us, and I'm sure it's like, well, we want this and we want that, and they're like, okay. It was great that they involved us in the whole process, which was amazing.
So what do you get in there, Mira? If you have like in a couple lines, what is your description? Let's say for people that, okay, let's say you're sitting at the table with 10 girlfriends. They're not the most wine experience around you, and you want to describe what's in there. What would you tell them?
So this is an interesting point. I need to get better at, here's some chocolate. This is what chocolate smells like. And then I pick it up.
It doesn't have to be like that.
I don't know this stuff. You guys know my rating scale. It's do I like it or not? And if I do, how many glasses, would I drink?
That's it. I didn't ask you to describe it the way we would. I'm asking you, what would you tell your 10 girlfriends at the table?
Yes. First of all, do I like it or not? Yes, I like it. The nose is intriguing to me. The nose is something that I can sit there and sniff at for a while. There are some wines where the nose is not as appealing as I'd like, and this one is a good one, so I like that. And then as far as the actual taste, I've been sipping away at this, and Marcel's asking who's going to rate the wine and do we have to call in backup tasters? Yes, I think for the sake of fairness and non-biasedness, I don't know. We need more backup tasters for sure.
We have listening right now, I think Vicky already tasted it. Daryl already tasted it. I will let them give us a score on a scale of 100, just like I do. I will let them, hey,
yeah.
I'll let them do that. To myself, I have my idea. I tasted it. I know what's my scale. I explained everyone my scale many times before. 88 point is when the wine is honest. The wine meat is criteria. Meat is price point. It's not great, but it's good. There's like some small flaws here and there, but it's still a good wine. 89, it's a good wine. It's a wine who meet this price point, over deliver, and it could be there one or two obvious point where I would like to have a little bit more, but it shows very well for the price. 90 point. It's a wine for me who easily, it's a wine that I want to recommend. It's a wine that I would love to talk about, the reorder. It's a wine where there's doesn't lack of any of the big category, like in tannin and complexity and length and all of that. 91, 92, it's a very, very, very good wine. 93, it's where it's the rock star level, starting all the way to 95. 95 and up, it's pretty much one or twice a year, where you know from the first sip that you are. It happened to me 2 or 3 times this year, and I can mention which wine: the Cuvée 19e Chardonnay from Mauricette, the Pinot Noir from the Estate Grown from Upper Bench was exactly that wow, unbelievable feeling. Palace from Courcelette was that, and the Nota Bene 2019. That's the full wine that it's 95 and these in around that. So when I taste this, to me, it's a 90 point.
I was going to say, if I had to guess what Carl would say, it's a 90 point. I would say it's at least a 3-4 glass wine, depending on the occasion. And definitely one of those that I wouldn't feel bad. Keep on going. Open some more of it. Right? Sometimes for me, like what plays into it is like, yeah, it's a multiple glass wine, but do I really want to spend the money for another bottle? If it's then it tells you it's not as highly rated. Like there's some wines that are expensive and I'm like, yes, spend the money to get as many bottles as you want. And this is one of those where I'm like, yes, let's go, because it's like an accessible price point and it's really enjoyable. Daryl's saying my scoring system is tougher than Carl's. Yes.
No, I know that you're a little bit more old school that way. And to me, when I keep reading over and over to Anthony Gismondi and these hard ass wine reviewer, where they're throwing flour at a wine and say, oh, it's so good, so well made, and they end up with an 88 point score. That's where I'm sometimes saying, okay, but what's a 90 points in your book? To me, I wanted to be clear with the listener. I wanted to be clear with the readers that a 90 points to me, it's a good wine. So that's where to me, maybe my 90 points is the 88 points Gismondi. But yeah, no, I completely understand. And yes, Mike, we're talking about the members rep. And you tasted it yesterday with your burger. So I mean, I'm curious.
Story, you guys, because we know Bella Terra is so freaking organized that when you order wine from there, you're like, you blink and the wine arrives at your door because they're so organized and so efficient. And so we actually don't have the very finished bottles. We just have our bottle, which we picked up in Niagara when Carl went there last month. It has no label yet. So you guys are the first to get it.
I smuggled it back in my luggage. I smuggled it back.
So yeah, you guys have the one with the actual label. Ours is still in the mail because it takes longer to get here than it does where you are. So on the Carl scale, 90.5. Yeah, if Daryl's at 88.5, then it's like 90.5.
So just to give people the idea, this is a blend of 50% Merlot, 25% Cab Franc, 25% Cab Sauv, 2 barrels. So we choose 2 barrels of Merlot, 1 barrel.
Total. Right? 4 barrels total, right?
Yeah, 2 barrels of Merlot, 1 barrel of Cab Franc, and 1 barrel of Cab Sauv. So that was the selection. And yeah, the whole thing, 4 barrels total blended together, hit the nose on the 100 cases. So yeah, so for me, the Merlot bring that richness, bring the depth, and that's why we choose it. From the quality of what we've tasted, the Merlot has the potential to be the backbone. I think Merlot is more approachable, has more general appeal than the Cab Franc. When I'm talking with Mira, Cab Franc is not a grape that she especially have a natural affinity with. And so that the goal was, and I know that there's a lot of people who like Cab Franc, but it's not the type of grape who has that generic appeal. So as much as Merlot, many people say I don't drink Merlot, it's more about what Daryl was mentioning earlier, the infamous Sideways movie, who absolutely wrecked Merlot's reputation. But for me, as the backbone of a blend, Merlot will bring softness, will bring also depth, also complexity, bring a nice acidity if it's well made. So there's a little bit of everything for the backbone. So by bringing 1 barrel of Cap Franc, that's bring intricacy to me. It brings a little bit of dark chocolate. It brings that that a little bit of terroir specificity, because Bellaterra does Cap Franc so well, and that's one of the grapes that Luke grows the best. So I wanted some Bellaterra sense of terroir in there, and I wanted to make it a little with some grip in the back end. So that's where the cap soft, the structure, the tannin. So by bringing these three together, allowed us, not only me, but us, to bring something round, deep, and with nice acidity, and also with just enough complexity that it's not just too easy. We wanted to make it approachable, but also a little bit specificity. I know I can't pronounce it, Mike. There are some of these words that I just don't come out, and this one is part of it. Anyway.
Totally. And I like what you're saying about this, Carl. So there's that sort of more suave side, and then the more the acidic kind of grippy side. Because when we were tasting we were doing the barrel tasting, the first one we did together, we learned something really interesting. Hey, Carl, we learned that I like the more feminine style of wine, which is a little more like, what would you call it? Like elegant.
Elegance over power.
Yeah, a little bit more about the elegance, right? And then every time that Carl was like, "Oh, this is a good barrel. This is the best barrel," because we were rating them and stuff, and I noticed that I would say, "Well, that one's a little like too grippy for me. Like it's like too bold, right?" So it was an interesting. This one works for both of us, I think, somehow.
Well, again, it's always to keep in mind the approachability, right? Being approachable, and also on a young age. We were not looking to make a long-term cellaring type of wine. We were looking to offer something ready to drink upon purchase. But there's a nice acidity in there who allows me to think that 5 years down the road, this wine will still be really, really good. So yeah, it's a little bit of the thought process behind it. I give it a 90 point personally. Am I biased? Am I too? I don't think it's more than that, but I think it's really approachable. It's not, I don't feel disappointed. That's my whole point. I was scared to open it, taste it, and say, "Oh, really?" No, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good. Can it be better?" Yes, of course. We always look to get something better coming up. But I open it and I'm like,
I'll pull the plug on it. If you guys don't like it, at any point, just tell me and we'll pull the plug. There's no pressure. And that was the best way to do it, actually, because he was like, "Well, we just won't label it until you're 100% sure you like it." Right. And so that's why we were like, "Yes, let's do this," because we liked it. And then it was labeled a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a month ago. So yeah, it's really exciting. Actually, I cannot wait to have that going out and see what people think across the country. We already got some great intel, some good tasting notes from 3 of our people so far. Mike Laplante, the average wine enthusiast, who, by the way, if you guys have the chance, go check out his YouTube channel. He does some great stuff. I love how Mike talks about wine. So yeah, Mike already put some notes on the Carl's Wine Club VIP. Daryl Hickey already put some notes, and Vicky Holmes was the first one to get out there. She received the first bottle yesterday afternoon. She posted her note yesterday afternoon, last night. So we're grateful. Thank you guys for giving us.
These guys, you guys didn't know this was coming your way. Like, this was a serious surprise because A, we're not that organized, and B, we kind of wanted it to be a surprise. So there you go. But yeah, like, whoever is posting, we appreciate that. That's awesome. We totally didn't, I don't think we even included a note in there, so people didn't really know.
No.
We figured that the label kind of speaks for itself because they know it's coming from us. So
so yeah, so that was a fun process. It was, like you guys are mentioning here on the chat, it was an easy process because the team at Bellaterra, from Marcel, who championed the whole thing, to Lou, the owner, because as Lou, as the big owner, he had to approve that whole shebang. And yes, it was a no-brainer for him to put the company behind that project. And Fred, it's actually Fred and the winemaking team who get their hand on these grapes and make it for us. So the whole thing was possible from their team. So now I just want to let you know it's going to be that $26 a bottle. It's going to be
$26.95 including tax.
Including tax.
Yeah.
It's going to be free shipping across the country for 12 bottles and $15 for a 6-pack. Correct? That's what we said. That's what we came up as an agreement. And so $15 shipping anywhere in the country for 6, free for 12, and 12 and more. So yeah, and the proceed, part of the proceed will go to Habitat for
Niagara. We'll see if next year we can get an even bigger donation and give it to maybe the national branch or something like that. That would be fun.
Exactly. So no, it's exciting, very, very exciting. And I will do a full tasting note review on it, and it's going to be a part of the email on Sunday night to all of our VIPs, Monday morning out to the public, and only 100 cases available. So we'll see how it goes.
Totally. And I have to say, like, this wine is fun. You know where it's hitting me? You know how sometimes I say this wine is getting me in my feet or something or whatever, right? This one is making my cheeks a little bit red.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's making me happy. It's just making me kind of like giggly. So I love it. Some wines make me sleepy. Some wines make me, want to go and dance. I don't know. This one's just kind of make me happy and making me want to chat with people. So I think it's great.
And it's fun because that's exactly what I mean when we said, like, building that wine to be approachable. So it can make people happy, just like the effect that it has on you, Mira. Like, we didn't want that wine to be complicated. We want that wine to be festive. And guess what? With Christmas season just around the corner, this is pretty cool to throw that out for a party and this kind of thing. So yeah. So there you go. This is Carl. Oh, let's talk about just 1 minute about the name of the wine. Remember the no?
Oh,
Carl?
yes.
So no. Guys, I have to tell you that Marcel and I came up with the name, and we got a big no. And that no was coming from that lady. She was like, no, that's not what we want to do.
I don't know how much you guys thought this out, right? But they created the label. I said the label's great. We'll have Marcel on next week to hear how he came up with this idea. But he came up with the idea of just wrapping our logo around because I think he was looking at your mug, right? Where's your spitter mug? And he's like, that belongs on a bottle of wine, not on a mug, right? So I think it's great because you can't actually photograph the wine with our whole logo on it. You have to take pictures of 2 bottles. So I don't know if that's strategic, like you always need 2 bottles or what, but so I like that. But then where it says now 2019, right? 2019 members red blend. Before, originally it was saying 2019 proprietary blend. And I'm like, proprietary blend. I'm like, no, that sounds corporate or something.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And I don't like secrets either. So tell me what's in it. So that we change it to members blend, because it's about our members. Like, that's what the wine club is. It's all about our community, right? So
yeah, and there was not a whole lot of negotiation about that. It was like, no, that's not. And fair enough. So, and we came up with, I think it was like a 2-minute conversation. She said, why and for who are we making that wine? I said, for the members. And she said, so is it not a members blend? And I said, yes, boss, it is. Marcel, Carl here. Let's call it members blend.
yes.
So yeah, and now the stripe that you guys see in the middle. I'm not saying anything about that stripe.
There's a special story about that stripe. We'll get into that next week, because we got a
Next
call
week
from Marcel at some point that was, guys, welcome to the world of production. You have a decision on your hands now.
So this was not planned from the beginning. This had to be added. I'm not saying more. I'm gonna zip. Mira, we're not gonna tell more. The rest of the story coming from Marcel next week live during our wine happy hour.
Has a great question. What % is the alcohol? Tell me, Carl. I'm pretty sure I saw it before it was 13, right? Is it 13 or 13?
13 and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it's 13. I think it's 13 on the dot, because I saw, see, we don't have the label in front of us, but I saw Vicky posted it the other day and it was 13. And you know why I remember that and why it's such a good question, Ken? 13 is my lucky number. I don't think that the winery knew that.
And we got the confirmation. It's 13% alcohol. So not too hot. It's not, if it was, I would say a 2020 vintage, it will be more, have the chance to be more 13.5 to 14. With 2019, it was more of a colder vintage, and I'm happy with that. I'm not a big fan of big and heavy and hot wine, so I'm fine with that. I think now we're on to something for next year. We are on to something.
There you go, Daryl. The Tabernacle blend. There you go.
The Tabernacle blend. We are on to something for next year's name. Oh, that I am on it. Maybe my mom was not going to be really impressed with that, but guess what? At some point, we need to move on, right? Taber
Frank.
Okay, now we are going sideways. Okay, with that. What do a member? Okay, I know, Mira. Let's plan for June, last week of June 2022, a members retreat at Bellaterra, and we're gonna do our new board member meeting, and we'll discuss the new name and the Taber Franc or the Tabernacle blend or something like that. The Karma. Hey, Archer. You know what? Oh my God, that is crazy that you mentioned that, because you remember before we started Carl's Wine Club, we were talking about some names for our new business, Mira, and the Karma and the Mira Carl and all of these kind of things.
Oh yeah, we were like, maybe we should call it the Mira Carl Club.
Yeah.
It sounds like miracle, right?
Yeah, it's so Karma, Karma blend.
Carmira. Yeah, that's cute. I like it.
So, hey, you know what? It's been an hour and a minute and on 1 minute now that we've been talking about that.
Okay, so I need you, Carl, to talk a little bit about Carl's Cellar while I get everybody's names in for the draw, because I haven't been doing that. I've been enjoying this wine. It's been fabulous. So I'm going to get everyone's names in, and we're going to pick a winner for an Enovino, right?
Are we doing the Enovino, or are we doing oh, but by the way, we're down to our last box or Enovino, right?
Oh, okay.
I know a guy who supplied that. We got a couple. I got a container of it, so we might have to reach out to our source to get more.
I know, and they sold out before for months at a time because they're made abroad partly. So yeah. Okay. And Ovino, because I said that in the ticker down below. Do you see that?
Okay. Well, I thought it was the hat from Westcott.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that too. Maybe next week.
Next week.
Okay.
Okay. So now Carl's Cellar, Mira, and I now, well, especially Mira, are putting together now the landing page for these 11 wineries that we are so excited to launch that online marketplace with 11 different partners, where we're going to have live at all time a different offer from every single partner. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have a good representation of who are part of it. So to start, Mira, do you have the ticker, or how do you want to do that? Because I know that you're busy entering names right now.
Oh, no. I'm going to, you just tell me the name of the winery, or I put it up on the screen for you. What do you prefer?
You put them up on the screen for me, and we'll go from there. There you go. Our first partner, and one of the first that's going to be launched tomorrow or on Friday. It's Westcott Vineyards out of the escarpment. Right on the escarpment in the Vintmount Ridge appellation. Westcott are known now for some of the most boutique, handcrafted Pinot Noir and Chardonnay out of Niagara. These single vineyards, Chardonnays, and Pinot Noir are absolutely world class. We have worked with Westcott last year, and we knew the potential. And also, they bought a new vineyard. It's called the Butler's Grant Vineyard, where now it expands their portfolio to Cap Franc and Rieslings. So now we are excited. We're doing 3 different packs with Westcott. We're going to do the Discovery Pack with 6 different bottles, including their entry-level Violet Sparkling Delphine Rosé and Lilias on Oak Chardonnay. But also, we're going to do a 3-pack of single vineyard Pinot Noir and a 3-pack of premium single vineyard Chardonnay. So we're going to do some different thing with Westcott. Carolyn Hurst and Grant Westcott are all into that project. They are going really modern in terms of how they want their wine to be showcased to Canadian. And they put a lot of effort into their new direct-to-consumer strategy. And we've been part of that expansion with them. So we're really thrilled to feature Westcott. And watch for our blog coming soon. If it's not on next week, I think a blog's coming on Westcott as well. So this second winery is 13th Street Winery. There you go. Boom. 13th Street was one of our first partner when we started. Was it the first one? I think it was our first.
First from Niagara, for sure.
The first from Niagara that we featured. We have kept contact and relationship since day one that we've started. They also have a very forward thinking in terms of wine distribution across the country. Jean-Pierre Collat, their winemaker, is a world-class winemaker, born and raised in Chablis in Burgundy. Jean-Pierre has been with 13th Street for over 10 years now. He is a wizard of sparkling wine. What we're celebrating here tonight with their 2019 Blanc de Blanc, so Chardonnay, bright, crisp champagne style, so nice brioche, almond butter, nice texture in there. So Jean-Pierre does sparkling like no one else. Also, they have a very well-rounded portfolio with a great, awesome entry-level line of wine of just around the $20 mark, and as much as also some premium wine. So much versatility into the 13th Street. So we're excited to work with Jean-Pierre, Elia, and his team. So
That's great.
a third
one
one
more from Niagara, right? And this is we got one more from Niagara, right?
Yes, we do. A small player out of also from the escarpment. I think they're on the St. David's bench, if I'm not mistaken. So the 2020 7 Cellar, Kevin and Jody is just the young couple. Kevin sources grape from different single vineyards from the area, specializing Cab Franc, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Rieslings. He also likes to do some great bubbly. What I like with Kevin, it's what it is. This 2027, the number is his license number. He does that for a reason, because what he likes to do is to go source the best plot of land on a yearly basis. Lots of wine comes from the Foxcroft vineyard or the Wismer vineyard. So the best source of fruit, he go get some small batches and produce 100 or 200 cases of small batch of wine sourced from very specific. He is very, very terroir driven. So I love his style. I'm really excited to work with him. I met, and thanks Marcel again, when I went to Niagara last time. He said, Carl, I need to take you to a little guy. And I don't want to call him a little guy. He's not a little guy. He's an absolute freaking beast at what he does. No, true enough, right? It doesn't have to be a big corporation and you get called a little guy. It's wrong. So, but yeah, Kevin, I met Kevin through Marcel. And when we approached him to be part of 2027 Cellar, he was like, oh, darn right, I want to be part of that. So it's going to be great to work with small batch, terroir-driven, pinpoint, small little spot in Niagara. So can't wait to work with him.
They're really new on the block, right? Like new kids on the block. Like he has been making wine in Niagara for a long time. But this is the first time that they're on their own with their own tasting room and that kind
of thing. Yeah, and they are in, if you know Calamus, so Calamus Winery. So Kevin operates his tasting room right in Calamus. They built a door right beside Calamus tasting room, and they're operating from there. He also makes the wine for Calamus.
So. Nice. That's both, hey? We've talked about 13th Street. So next up, should we chat about Black Market?
Black Market has a big following in Carl's Wine Club. We have done a couple things with them already. Our friend Rob Hammersley out of Caledon, BC. Caledon is, to me, it's central Okanagan, dead center, just before Okanagan Falls, between Kelowna and Oliver, right down the middle. Rob does such a great syrup program there, where he sourced from Oliver and the Black Sage Road. So we're going to do a 6-pack with Rob. Now we're going to have the pleasure to introduce our members to it's a secret society program. It's more of his approachable entry-level label. But we're also going to work with the syndicate, where it is flagship wine is Bordeaux blend. Also we're going to keep working with his Syrah, because members at Carl's Wine Club know Black Market for their Syrah. So it's always great to partner up with Black Market, and they are in the Cellar. Next one, Siren's Call. So this is the newest edition. We wanted to cap it at 10. Okay, the whole story here, full disclosure, it was planned. Let's cap it at 10. After that, we got all of our people. We kept having like more requests, and no, we wanted to keep it at 10 until Mark Simpson called and said, Carl, I was so busy with Harvest and Crush that I missed that email. I really want to be part of that. And guess what? We said yes, because Mark Simpson and Siren's Call have such wonderful wine. We've done some stuff with him in the past, and members love the diversity of his portfolio. A little bit like Kevin does in Ontario. Mark sourced grape from very specific grape grower across the Okanagan Valley and make his wine out of the BC Wine Studio in Okanagan Falls. But his relationship with wine grower makes him unique in the sense that he sourced some of the top Viognier, some of the top Syrah, some of the top Merlots and Cab Franc. And his Malbec is probably the best Malbec. And I still mention when I taste a good Malbec, it's always the Malbec that I compare with. My benchmark of Malbec in Canada is Siren's Call. Anyway, so Mark has a very, very unique talent in blending. I love his philosophy. So when it came down to get him into the cellar, it was like, should we? And I think the answer was yes. And members love what he does. So this is the newest edition. Number 11 was Siren's Call. So we're excited to have Mark on board. So yeah.
So if we're going, we just talked about the Okanagan, right? So we're going Black Market, Siren's Call. They're more in the middle, would we say? They're more kind of in the middle, right? So what's near there? The Black Market is Caledon. Siren's Call is OK Falls, but he sources from.
Yeah, exactly. He just makes his wine out of OK Falls. He doesn't have a vineyard where he's a home vineyard. So
yeah. And then, so if we're around there, what's in that area? Is be Spearhead, right? Spearhead is
no, Spearhead is completely across, completely up east side of Kelowna. It will be the
Spearhead. It would be Stag's Hollow.
Stag's Hollow, exactly. Stag's Hollow from Okanagan Falls. Stag's Hollow have a unique portfolio in the Okanagan. They are celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. They used to have two home vineyards, the Stag's Hollow Vineyard and the Shuttleworth Creek Vineyard. Like they're 5 minutes apart in Okanagan Falls. But the thing with Stag's Hollow is they're working with unique type of grape, like Dolcetto, like Albarino, like Teroldego. These are all European old world style of grape varietal that they are not the only one, but some of the only one to work with these kind of grape in Canada. And they've been doing it absolutely wonderfully. So like from Western Canada, like there's not a whole lot working with Vidal, and they make some great Vidal. Obviously their Dolcetto is that Italian version of a Gamay. It makes a beautiful, they're Simply Noir wine, a blend of Dolcetto, Pinot Noir, and
Zweigelt. Yeah.
It's just simply outstanding. There's Syrah, Finesse Syrah. Anyway, so I really love what Stag's Hollow doing. So yes, they are part of it. We're excited to have them part of the cellar. From there, we can go to Summerland to work with. We're going to work with Lunescence out of Summerland. One of the most spectacular views in the valley when you sit on their patio. But working with Cameron and Max, the winemaker, that's Lunescence has one of the best homegrown Riesling. I love their estate Riesling. They do Riesling bubbly. They do a Riesling white, a blend with Riesling. Their Max is helping to develop a very unique estate grown program right now with their wine. I have such a beautiful personality. So, and working with them again is very exciting. They just released a few cases of the Crescendo 2015 to be part of the cellar. So it's very exciting. Their small lot Chardonnay just received 94 points from Wineline, and they are saving 24 bottles just for the cellar. So there's some fun stuff that we're do with Lunescence. So we are happy and really excited to have part of it. From Lunescence, we can go all the way back to Kelowna, and we can do Tender Hope. Tender Hope with our friend Effie Perrell has a very unique portfolio in the sense that half of his portfolio is from Washington State. So the only producer in Carl Cellars to have some Washington State grapes. He goes right now. He's right there now. He's going back and forth with his refrigerated truck to get his grape from his source in Washington State. He crushed it here in Kelowna. Obviously, they're not VQA grapes, but half of his portfolio is from Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Roussanne, from down south in Washington State. And it gives such a different perspective. He has his VQA portfolio, where most of his reds are from Osoyoos and most of his whites are from Kelowna. A great Chardonnay. He does also wonderful rosé, and a wonderful bubbly rosé is one of my favorite. And his Washington State portfolio, so very unique. We're happy to work with Tender Hope and our friend Hefty Perrell. Passionate guy. He loves the fruits coming out of the vineyard. He's a passionate guy, so we are so happy to work with him. And finishing up with, I like to call them a little bit of the Westcott of the Western Canada. It's Spearhead. Spearhead has a knack for Pinot Noir. They just absolutely cleaned up the Lieutenant Governor Award 2021, the wine award here in BC, with 3 platinum award for their Pinot Noir and 1 gold. So they came on top of the whole competition, and that was just after we signed them up for the Cellar. So we were like just watching live the Lieutenant Governor Wine Award, and Spearhead was just like cleaning up everything. We're like, woohoo, that's gonna be great. So we have, I think, part of their first offer in the Cellar, 3 platinum award from the last 3 weeks ago award competition. So yeah.
So then we got a couple more. We got Hillside. If you go to
forget the bench. How can we do something across Okanagan Valley without having something Naramata bench specific, right? So yes. So we have Hillside Estate. So Naramata bench grown, raising grown. How do their line? I really like
Naramata grown and
raised
and grown.
Yeah, anyway, so yeah, Hillside, 100% Naramata bench fruit, with one of the best bench winemaker. Kathy Malone has been with Hillside she's been working with bench fruit for 15 years. She knows the bench in and out. So it's a blast to have access to their portfolio. One of the only one to make some Moscato Tonel in the country. It's our family grape, where Mira's mom grew up on the Moscato Tonel vineyard in Europe. So it's pretty cool to have the chance to have that, one of our favorite wines. So Hillsides are on board. And the last one, and none the least, it's Time Family of Wine. And so working with 2 of their brands, it's Chronos. It's the brand new baby of the family, Chronos, with 4 whites that we're gonna work with, and Evolve. It's this approachable brand, approachable label from Times Family of Wine. This little red. For a $22, an extremely beautiful value of Merlot, Cap Franc, and Syrah is part of it. I tasted it twice, and every time I'm just loving what's in there. So yeah, so Times Family of Wine are gonna have 2 brand in there in Chronos and Evolve. So.
And eventually more. So the whole idea here is that We're going to keep working with these wineries. Hopefully when they find a pallet of wine that they didn't know they had in the back of their warehouse, that is some amazing vintage that was sold out, we'll be the first they call. When they release a new wine that hasn't been released to anybody else, they'll call us. So it'll be a fun way to really get to know these wineries and be the first kind of in line for their best wines. Because I think, Carl Boucher, members, if we're able to gather together the Canadian wine lovers that support Canadian producers like this, at some point, probably very soon, the best Canadian wines will sell out in a flash. It's already starting to happen. We see like Painted Rock. We really wanted to work with them more closely, but they sold out of wines. Like some of their wines sell out in 4 minutes. They post.
And and what we want to do, like example, let's take Westcott as an example. Like now, Carolyn put together, like, let's say that Chardonnay, the single vineyard premium Chardonnay pack. What I want to do here, it's with Carolyn and you, let's get on the Zoom tasting. Let's taste these 3 Chardonnay. Let's do some clip and let's post that on the Cellar. So people, when they get, or if they wonder if they should get that pack, they can click on that link and listen to the tasting that we have done between you, me, and Carolyn, like something like that. That's my vision about the Cellar, because Spearhead is so close. Next week, I'm contacting Grant. Grant is the winemaker. I'm going to go there, and we're going to taste their Pinot Noir, either live or we're going to record it, and we're going to post the footage on the Cellar. So if you guys have questions, want to see, so there's going to be some very specific footage, specific interview, specific unique tasting that we're going to post on that. It's going to become an absolute library of information and live interaction with our partners. So that's what I'm really excited about.
That's so awesome. I love the comments here, you guys. Linda's mentioning the white Pinot Noir from Spearhead, and we were lucky that we as a club got the last bottles of that. They're not making that again. And then Linda was lucky. She found a few bottles at the local Save on Foods, which was
don't tell anyone. I have 1 bottle sticking there.
Oh, perfect.
I have 1 bottle behind me. I'm keeping that one.
And then Daryl's calling tastings. Now he's calling them Rumble in a Glass Smackdowns. I like that term. I
love it. No, that's a new project.
Spearhead. That would be a fun one with the Pinots and the Chards, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. To be honest with you, I don't think that Spearhead is at the level. It doesn't have the same Chardonnay portfolio to go head-to-head with Westcott. Westcott is very unique in terms of their different single vineyard. But when it's time to Pinot Noir, though, Noir, though, yes. There's something pretty cool that we can be doing with that. Oh, I have a little deer here joining me.
Hello, my little deer.
I think now we're at an hour and a half, so yeah, we'll have to call it a day because this guy deserves some daddy's love. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think I got everyone's names here, so let's spin it. Gabby,
Gabby, spin the wheel.
You smack your hand in the air. Let's spin
Can you spin the wheel for us? 1, 2, 3, go. There you go. So this is Gabrielle here. Gabrielle just choosing the winner of
Nancy
Anderson.
Can you say it louder?
Nancy Anderson.
Very good.
Nancy Anderson.
Joni says hi to you, Gabby.
Joni?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi,
Joni.
Okay, so it was a great show.
Nancy.
Hey?
Congrats to Nancy. She won the NO Vino, which, by the way, did you NO Vino our members' red blend tonight?
Absolutely did. Yes, I did.
You did? Fabulous.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Look,
Oh yeah, there you go. Nice.
I did. So yeah, here we are. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a great show. I'm super thrilled. Now we're gonna go work around the clock tonight to push that baby out in the next 48 hour. Westcott's gonna be live. Spearhead was gonna be live. Stag's Hollow is gonna be live, and the other one is 13th Street. So we're gonna have 4 live.
We'll see how many. So they'll start to like ping up in lights as they are live in the next few days. We'll send out that
And
link.
what's the link? The link will probably be like Carl Sellers or
Well, I think it's carlcellar.com, and then as soon as it's live, we'll send that out.
there you go. So
carlcellar.com.
thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all of you passionate Carl's Wine Club members, Canadian wine lovers. We feel that we are doing the right thing. We are so blessed to be part of that with you guys. We feel so energized to share these experiences with you. This is going to be epic. Carl Cellar is going to be epic. Next week, we're featuring the Carl's Wine Club, the Carl's member blend. The week after, we're coming with a Black Hills offer with some library wine with Black Hills Estate Winery. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, guys.